And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Hello everyone, I'm National Weather Service Meteorologist Peter Chan, and this is your Alaska Aviation Weather Outlook on Sunday, July 20th, 2025. And to set things up, we've had a broad area of low pressure circulating, not just at the surface, but in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. This feature is weakening as it heads toward the Bering Strait Monday into early Tuesday. So we have this circulation here, low pressure circulation over the Bering, and then ridging, high pressure ridge that nudges up. It's going to begin to fold and collapse across the panhandle later Monday into Tuesday, and before additional energy comes up in from the lower Bering and then slides southeastward. With this first system, what's left of a trough or front is going to try to develop a weak low pressure in the corner here of the Gulf, the northwest corner, as we get into Tuesday and early Wednesday. So the high pressure that's in place this Sunday, Monday, and lingering into Tuesday, enjoy it there across the panhandle, because that's going to be a warm and dry period that's going to give way to more unsettled and wetter weather here as we get especially the latter half of the weekend, probably thereafter for some time. The other issue, Monday morning, we will have the potential for some thunderstorms to develop across the eastern interior with the heating that'll occur by Monday afternoon. Otherwise, we do expect IFR conditions in through the Gulf, just off of the outer coast there of the Panhandle. Also up here, maybe a little pocket around Anatuvik and Adigan passes. IFR conditions, low stratus, some fog, hovering along the Beaufort Sea coast, and then also down along the west coast. Moist southwesterly flow coming in off the Bering, creating areas of rain showers here throughout the west. It's going to spread inland across the interior. Monday afternoon, there could be isolated to scattered thunderstorms from the eastern half of the Brooks Range down through the Yukon Flats, 40-mile Gold Country, some of the higher terrain north and east of Fairbanks, upper Tanana Valley. As far as out along the Arctic coast, get off of Wainwright, Utqiagvik, there could be some areas of IFR. And then certainly hovering and hanging around the YK deltas from the Bering Strait all the way down to Cape Newingham there for Monday afternoon. Tuesday, we continue to watch moisture come inland through the interior, areas of rain showers. MVFR there up through the middle Yukon, could be some isolated IFR. We also have some IFR just off of the outer Panhandle coast, off of Prince of Wales Island and outside there of Port Arthur. And then back here to the west, we find IFR conditions still along the YK deltas, back through the Pribilovs and in through the central eastern Aleutians. Tuesday afternoon, still potentially a thunderstorm could develop around 40-mile Gold Country, upper Tanana Valley. And then extensive MVFR conditions across the central western interior, where you'll have some lower ceilings along with some areas of rain or rain showers. And again, IFR conditions lurking off of the Arctic coast, and this time a little bit off of the west coast, and then down through again the central, especially central western Aleutians. Anatuvik Pass on Monday is looking to be IFR become MVFR. There could be a shower thunderstorm develop in vicinity there during the afternoon. And same thing, Adigan Pass, IFR conditions becoming MVFR, could be an isolated thunderstorm develop in vicinity there Monday afternoon, early evening. As we drop down along the Alaska Range, generally MVFR conditions along the west arm, Lake Clark and Merrill, coming on up through Rainy Pass, Windy Pass, MVFR on Monday. Isabel may be able to hold on to VFR conditions there. And further east, Mentasta starts out VFR becoming MVFR. And if you're flying north of Mentasta Pass along the upper portion of the Tanana Valley and toward the 40-mile Gold Country, you could encounter cumulus buildups along with some scattered showers and isolated storms. Tanita Pass looking to start MVFR Monday morning, becoming VFR. Portage should generally hold on to VFR conditions during the day Monday, and further east, Chilkoot and White enjoying VFR conditions. Again, the Panhandle will have some excellent weather this Sunday afternoon and again Monday, and maybe holding on into Tuesday. Number of temperatures there, areas seeing 70 plus. So enjoy that, because the pattern will be changing for the latter half of the week, and definitely going to be getting wetter there again. So here you can see the evidence of the ridging in the Gulf. We have high pressure ridge, not just at the surface, but mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. The ridge axis runs like this through the central Gulf along the Alcan border, and that ridge is eventually going to fold toward the Panhandle and flatten. So at least those of you in the Panhandle should enjoy another Monday, Tuesday afternoon of warmer weather. Back to the west, we have a cooler pocket area of air aloft. It's a signal of this surface, mid and upper level low pressure, very broad area here over the northern Bering, Gulf of Anadyr. That feature is going to drift northeast and wash out. But again, this pattern has been holding for some time now. But it's causing southwesterly flow air aloft. It's bringing in moisture from along the west and southwest coast into the interior. And where you have some thicker cloud cover and precipitation falling, there's the potential for icing above 12,000 feet there toward the Yukon Flats. On Monday, some of that precipitation could be in the form of scattered thunderstorms. And further south, because of that ridging I showed you, freezing levels above 14,000 feet of any showers or storms encountered there. Back to the west, above 8,000 feet around the Seward Peninsula, Norton Sound, lower Yukon coast, back towards St. Lawrence Island, where you have the thicker clouds producing precipitation. There could be some moderate icing out that way. So clearly on the jet stream level, 30,000 feet, roughly 250, 300 millibar chart. You can clearly see the ridge, North Pacific up into the Gulf. And wind max coming down out of the north-northwest across British Columbia, 95 knot wind max, and we have a 95 knot southwesterly flow wind max coming in from the lower Bering Sea up into Bristol Bay and along the Alaska Range, the west side there. As we bring it down to 700 millibars, or roughly 9,000 feet, we can still see that ridging up into the Gulf. Here's the axis. And southwest flow, broad southwesterly flow along the west-southwest side of the state, including coming up through the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island with a local wind max, southwest of Kodiak Island and off of the Alaska Peninsula to 50 knots there. And then at 3,000 feet, ridging not quite as pronounced, but we still have hints of that. And we have winds 35 to 45 knots, generally, especially southwest there of Kodiak Island and south of the Alaska Peninsula. But then coming into the lower Yukon, Norton Sound, and up there all the way north to the northwest Chukchi Sea coast, Lisburn Peninsula to Wainwright, 35 to 40 knot winds locally from the west-southwest. So the greatest threat for some turbulence on Monday is going to be areas of the west around the Seward Peninsula, including Nome, Gullivan. Also could be some pockets of moderate turbulence in here through the lower Yukon, maybe Emonic, Kotlik, and then back toward eastern St. Lawrence Island and St. Matthew, surface to 4,000 feet. And then the other couple of areas there may be isolated to moderate turbulence, south side of Kodiak Island to just off of Chiknik, surface to 4,000 feet, and then also maybe isolated turbulence there just off of the outer west-southwest coast of the Panhandle, say from Port Alexander down to off of Craig at surface to 6,000 feet on Monday.